What's happening, crypto fam? Happy Friday. Good morning and welcome back to Love for Crypto. I'm Scott. It's a pleasure to have you here. I appreciate taking the time out to consume my content. So thank you. Just to end the week on the currency, been on a little bit of a cashless currency. It's all going to change. Inevitable. We're going to close it off on a Friday with will cash die out? Of course it will. Of course it will. I'm on a Bank of England here, link in the description. That's their title, not mine. Will cash die out? Of course it will. Might be mine. Cash remains popular despite the rise of contactless cards and other new payment methods. Well, there's a certain generation, isn't there, that really like cash, that think it's the bee's knees. Yeah, they think it is value. Represents value. It's not actual value. The piece of paper it's printed on ain't worth a wank. Yeah. What the new digital ways to pay? Today, the greater choice than ever in how to pay for things. Contactless technology is used in many debit and credit cards. There are services that store payment cards digitally, like PayPal, Apple Pay, and so on, allowing contactless payments to be made using a PC or a smartphone. Other services link your mobile phone number to your bank account so you can pay someone by sending a text. Most of these innovations are about making it easier to pay for things. I say it all the time, convenience always wins. Convenience always wins. It is the same underlying systems that make a secure payment possible. Whether you pay by direct debit card, whether it's contactless, using a PIN in store or online. It's worth noting that digital currency schemes like Bitcoin or Ripple are an altogether different thing. I've been trying to do this week. Digital assets are not currencies. They're assets of value. Currencies in the world now have got no fucking value. The IOUs. It's not like we're not going to have IOUs in crypto with regards to some IOUs and stuff like that, but they will be collateralized. You will collateralize something towards the debt of the IOU, so there's something there for someone to take the flaming IOU and not just walk around with it like a dickhead. Do you know what I mean? The cryptos combine new payment systems and new currencies. So to pay for things using Bitcoin, say you would first need to buy Bitcoins using pounds, US dollars, euros, etc. And they're not wrong. You need an on-ramp. But cash is in decline. Excuse me. Is cash in decline? Despite these innovations, cash, banknotes and coins continue to be important. There are over £70 billion worth of notes in circulation. 2 times increase in 10 years, that's roughly twice as much as a decade ago. Well, I'm not surprised considering how fast you print that shit off. You cut twice the increase, it's twice as much as a decade. Well, if you printed a bit more, it'd be 4 times as much, wouldn't it? And it still won't be worth fuck all. $70 billion worth of IOUs in circulation. IOUs the bank can't pay. That's where the debt comes from, mate. They've got actual 70 bill of IOU debt, and then they've got all the credit that they've pumped out digitally that hasn't even got notes behind it. It's just pump. £1,000 per person, or equivalent to around £1,000 per person. This is surprising to me because everyone knows I talk about a circular economy. There's £1,000 per person in the system. Give it us every fucking month. Let me spend it. Let the corporation pay it back in tax and give it me fucking back the next month. I'll spend it again, mate. No danger. No fucking danger. That right there, yeah, that right there is your living allowance. So when I start talking about the living allowance in first for artificial intelligence and all that to do the jobs for us, and most people just get £1,000 a month for nothing, and I was like, yeah, but where's the fucking money coming from? There it is, mate. So shut your mouth, sit down, and stop fucking talking and fighting a living allowance, talking like there's not £1,000 a month for everyone. Because there fucking is £1,000. There's £1,000 for everyone. This is perhaps surprising. People do not generally hold £1,000 in cash. So how is all this cash being used? All the same cash going round in fucking circles. Why not just giving us £1,000? Let us spend it. Take it back off the corporation in tax. And bish bash bosh Bob your uncle. Yeah. Now if the corporation transfers a little bit of it into assets, still come back around, and if it doesn't, print some fucking more. A large amount of banknotes are held in the UK to pay for things. They're cash in our wallets, in shop tills, in banks, ATM machines, and more. People also hoard cash as a form of savings. Large sums are also likely to be held overseas for illegal uses. The so-called shadow economy. You know all about that economy, Bank of England, give me that shit. So what does the future hold for cash? Over the coming years, it's likely that alternative digital payment methods will become ever more widely accepted and used. In fact, in 2017, debit cards overtook cash as the most frequently used payment method in the UK. Even so, many people will continue to use cash in their daily lives. Many people say that they like cash because they're idiots who don't really go anywhere. He doesn't say that, he just says they like cash because it's a fast and convenient way to pay. Go and pay fast, conveniently with cash online. Is it cash? We're talking about banknotes, not the cash that's actually already e-money. It's widely accepted until you cross a border. Yeah? And for some reason, they think it's helpful for budget management. So it's easier to count paper than it is to count numbers on a screen, yeah. Some people also like the fact that cash payment is entirely anonymous. It's easier to access cash with over 45,000 cash machines in the United Kingdom that are free to use. If I go to buy some cannabis, right, they generally don't take card payment for cannabis in the UK, you know, with it being illegal. So I go to the cash machine to get £50 to go and give it to a drug dealer, £50 cash, £50 cash. That cash ain't for me. It's not for convenience for me. It's not easy for me to do that. Talking out the fucking ass. They're talking out their ass. It's not easier for me to go and do it. It'd be easier to just throw in the 50 quid over the thing, but you don't want to receive that. Cash is not entirely anonymous. The bank knows that Scott Pratt took that £50 out. They fucking know. Cash is anonymous. I want cashless. I don't trust the fucking banks. Where'd you get your cash from, mate? Where'd you get your cash from? A bank cash machine. But you don't trust banks. I think you need to go and have a little word with yourself because you're not making any fucking sense. I don't trust banks, mate. I only got 150 grand off them for a fucking mortgage. You fucking weapon. I would rather live on the fucking streets than own a bank 150 grand. I'm not fucking joking there, guys. I'd legitimately rather live on a moors in a tent than owe a bank 150 grand. 100 grand. Knocks me sick thinking about owing 30 grand out for a fucking car. That kind of debt, mate. Jesus. From paper to polymer banknotes. I'll change the banknotes recently to fancy new ones that are almost indestructible unless you just cut them or rip them. Burn them. No, they don't get dirty though. They've been issuing banknotes for over 30 years and make sure the banknotes we all use are of high quality. While the future demand for cash is uncertain, it's unlikely the cash will die out anytime soon. 10 years, mate. 10 years in the UK gone. Done and dusted, lad. 10 years done and dusted. The new fiver entered circulation in 2016, was the first to be printed on a polymer, then a thin flexible plastic. The £10 note followed a year later, and 2020, the £20 note was printed to polymer too. It would be followed by the £50 note. Interesting. Do you know what else is interesting? What I found while reading this. What is Islamic finance? Say what? Islamic finance. So that bet. This is going to interest you. Because you don't actually have to be a Muslim to get it. And I can't believe what I actually read in this paragraph a minute ago. So Islamic finance is a way to manage money that keeps within the moral principles of Islam. It covers things like saving, investing, borrowing to buy a home. The moral principles in many Muslims' lives are sometimes known as the Sharia. So you may hear Islamic financial services described as Islamic finance or Sharia compliant. How is Islamic finance different to other types of finance? Islamic finance is Islamic finance is based on a belief that money shouldn't have any value in itself, which it actually doesn't. Money shouldn't have any value in itself. It's just a way to exchange products and services that do have value. Interesting. Linked to this way of thinking about money is the idea that you shouldn't make money from money. This means that wherever possible, getting involved in interest by either paying or receiving it should be avoided. Another important idea that underpins Islamic finance is that it shouldn't cause harm. For that reason, Islamic financial services should not invest in things like alcohol, tobacco, and gambling. Islamic finance also encourages partnership. This means that, where possible, both profit and risks should be shared. And I mean, I'm going to fucking say that again. Islamic finance also encourages partnership. This means that where possible, both profit and risks should be shared. This can be between two individuals, an individual and a business, or a business and a business. Anyone can use Islamic finance products and services. You don't have to be a Muslim. How does Islamic finance work? There are a number of Islamic finance products and services available in the UK. A Sharia-compliant current account today doesn't pay interest. Instead, in return for having ready access to your money, the deposit you give the bank is used as an interest-free loan. That is the bank taking an interest-free loan off you. This loan is known as a card. Putting an A after a Q without a U don't sit well in my head. QARD. Card. You can, how can you have Q? I don't know. If you open a savings account, the bank will invest the money you deposit, but they won't invest it in anything the Sharia says is harmful. This is the best bit. The bank will pay you part of any profit they earn, depending on what is invested in and how the profit is worked out. This might be called a wakala, where the bank actually acts as your agent, or a murabaha, where the bank buys and trades in commodities to earn a profit. When it comes to buying a home, there are a couple of alternatives to traditional mortgages. In one type of agreement, the bank can directly buy the property you want. Then they sell it to you at a profit and let you pay it back in installments. This is also called a murabaha contract, because they are buying the property and selling it to you for a profit. Or you can buy the property jointly with the bank, that is called a musharak partnership contract. Then over time, you gradually pay the bank for its share of the property. In both cases, the bank charges you extra to cover their cost and to reflect the fact you're living in a property they partly own. What is the Bank of England doing on Islamic finance? Our job is to keep the UK's financial system stable. One way to do this is by allowing banks to hold deposits with us. This helps keep them stable so they can keep providing banking services to anyone else, or everyone else, sorry. Excuse me. We noticed Islamic banks were unable to use these accounts because we paid interest on them. So we were creating a new type of bank account for such banks that doesn't pay interest. That means Islamic banks in the UK will be able to use some of the same support we give our other banks. Go and have a look at Islamic Finance over the weekend. Don't be a knobhead. Don't be a fucking knobhead. Sat there, oh, well, I'm not an Islam. I'm not using fucking Islam Finance. Go and pay some interest then, dickhead. Go and watch a bank get richer. Because I'm telling you now, I'm looking at it over the weekend. I knew it existed. Don't get me wrong. I knew it existed. 5 years ago, I was the dickhead. I'm not a fucking Islamic bank. Why would I want an Islamic bank? I'm not even Muslim, you dickhead. Shut the fuck up. The conversation ended there. A couple of years ago, I heard something about it. I can't really remember what. And I was like, sounds interesting, but not really worth having a proper dig at it. Getting a cut of what the fucking bank earns? Are you shitting me? Go and have a look at Islamic Finance. Go walk into your local bank and be like, listen, bruh, I've read about Islamic Finance this week and I want a taste of that shit. Close me account, move all my money into one that's not no interest that I earn when you earn. Yeah? Sort that shit out absolutely immediately. I'm going in with a burqa on if I have to. I'll be like, don't discriminate me, mate, because I'll walk out of here, come back in, identifying as a female Muslim, and you're fucked. Do you know what I mean? Like, seriously, it's 2020 now, mate. It's 1995. No, but real talk, go and have a look at it. Like I say, that was like, what? You get a cut of what the bank earns in Islamic Finance. That's Now, I'm not saying we all have to or should have to go and get an Islamic bank account. I'm saying every single fucking bank account on the planet should have them rules. If the bank makes with our money, we should make too. Done with the bankers, mate. The bankers can just all die. Just get the most horrible one who's made the most money off most heartache, heartbreak, death, destruction, war, famine, fucking COVID, you name it. Get the biggest horrible bastard in front of the rest of them and just slice his throat and just be like, this is what's going to happen in the future to all you motherfuckers who are evil for money. Does anyone else want to carry on living the way this bastard's been living, who's just lost his head? Ready to take it back to the 1600s, me, and legitimately just start taking heads off. Everyone's like, a bit harsh, that. They're all paedophiles, mate. It's not harsh at all. What? It's letting them off. We should be dragging them around the world on horse, like by a horse, mate. Yeah, and stop every now and then and patch him up so he don't die. Bleeding a bit too much, patch him up, give him a few days rest, and then we'll go again. Paedophiles, we'll be chopping his cock off and watching him die, watching him bleed out. Never mind just turning him off like that by chopping his head off. But seriously, on a serious note, real talk, it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. I hear it all the time. The banks do this, the banks do that, the governments do this, the governments do that. We'll vote someone in and we just can't change it. Well, Scott, it's just the way it is. Well, it was having shillings and sixpence and was just the way it was in 1970, but it wasn't by 75. And having pounds and pound coins and £5 notes is just the way it is at the moment, but it won't be by 2035. It just won't. And if Sharia banking and Islamic finance get them kind of perks alongside the bank, then I'm sorry, but I don't want to have to change all my bank accounts and shit into some kind of hidden finance that I didn't really know about. I want my fucking bank account to offer all the fucking perks everyone else gets. As long as you're not paying for it. I understand platinum accounts and all this shit that you can pay for and get your phone insurance. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about free current accounts that give perks simply because you want it to meet Sharia. Well, I'm sorry, right? Well, it shouldn't have to meet Sharia. It's morality. Where's the fucking humanity in these motherfuckers? Where's the compassion for people struggling? We should all have £1,000 each a month, minimum. Bullshit. And it makes you wonder, all these motherfuckers earning 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 grand a month. What does that mean for some other people? And where's their fucking money? Serious. I nearly didn't do a video today, and I'm glad I did. But I'm thinking about switching the content up a little bit. We're gonna do a love. We're making a couple more pages, so I'd really like it if you all support them and subscribe to them as soon as possible to get them to that 1,000 subscriber range. So it just opens up some doors to be able to live stream from the phone and stuff like that. So yeah, stay tuned for new. We've got love for crypto, love for media. There's gonna be love for tech. Will be coming up. Love for fucking gaming, and again, it won't be daily videos on them. It'll likely be weekly, but bear with us. And as we get more time and that, I'm kitting the garage out soon, so we'll be able to do more videos in the garage. It'll look a lot more presentable. I'll have Ethernet in there. I'll have more power in there. I'll be able to set up the laptop in there and stuff, and it's gonna be good. So enjoy your Friday, enjoy your weekend. Wishing health and happiness to you and yours. We love crypto. We love IOV, we hate cash, hate the Bank of England, love the sound of Sharia finance, to be perfectly honest, Islamic finance, and we love you. So until the next one, peace.